Welcome to our Group 2 presentation. Before starting the presentation, let me introduce myself and group members. My name is Jason Chong, and my group members are Ling Xia Ong, O Jizong, Muhammad Wujudi bin Aditya, O Xing Yi. Before we going through the point, let us know what is variation order. Variation order are formal change order issued for adjustment to the project after the internal contract is signed. The right-hand side is example of a variation order was used in construction. This presentation acknowledges the challenges in minimizing variation order in various construction industry, including self-serving, interested, and lack of cooperation between consultants and contractors. It proposes methods to minimize variation order, such as clearly defining projects requirements, conducting through site investigation, enhancing communication and cooperation, establishing effective change management process, and utilizing technology and project management tools.
Variation order are legal documents that allow for adjustment or revision to a construction contract initial scope of work. They can include design, specifications, scope quantity, and time variation. However, variation order can bring obstacles and issues such as cost implication, time management, and contractual consideration. They can impact the project budget, causing delay or interruption. Proper documentation and communication are crucial for efficient communication and avoiding disagreements or claim. In summary, variation order are essential documents for adjusting the scope of work in construction contract. PWD contract clause. Numerous clauses pertaining to variation order are included in the Public Works Department PWD standard form of contract. The procedure for requesting and approving variation order are described in this section together with the duties of each party. These provisions have been used in previous projects to handle project in scope, design, or material, but because of this stipulation, there have also been difficulties and problems. One frequent problem is initial contract ambiguity on what qualified as a variation order. This may result in disagreement over whether a change is covered by the terms of the contract or necessitates a separate variation order. Another issue is the lengthy approval procedure for variation order, which can extend the project timeframe and raise expenses. Despite the difficulties, it is essential for ensuring that construction projects are effectively finished to have a clear, explicit terms pertaining to variation order. Clause in PAM contract. Similar to those mentioned in PWD contract, the Pertubuhan Arkitek Malaysia PAM standard form of contract contains comprehensive clause relating to the variation order. It's important to note that there are some significant distinctions between the two contracts. For instance, the PAM contract gives you more time than the PWD contract to submit a variation order claim. When submitting a modification order claim, the contractor is additionally required by the PAM contract to include more specific information such as a description of the work performed and justification for the variation. The development of a brand new office block for a government organization is one of instance of how similar clauses have been used in previous projects. The client made variation requests for modification to the original design throughout the course of the project, including the construction of an extra story and the installation of a specialized HVAC system. Both the PAM and PWD contract allow for variation order claim to be made, and the contractor was eventually paid for extra work complete. Due to the PAM contract's more thorough guidelines for making variation order claims, the procedure went more smoothly. Clause in CIDB contract. One of the most often employed contract in Malaysia is the Construction Industry Development Board (CIDB) standard form of contract. It contains a number of variation order clauses that are comparable to those in PWD and PAM contract. It differs from the other contract through in a few special ways. One of the main distinctions is that under CIDB contract, any variation order must be accompanied by a thorough cost analysis from the contractor. This is done to verify that the client only paid for the work was actually complete and to prevent charging by the contractor. The CIDB contract provision for arbitration as a means of settling dispute about variation order is another special characteristic. Related law and the endemic period. There are numerous status that have been an impact on the usage of variation order in construction contract in addition to regular form of contract. 2012 introduced Construction Industry Payment and Adjudication Act (CIPAA) is one such law. This law established a framework for the adjudication of payment dispute in construction project, particularly those involving variation orders. The endemic era in Malaysia should be taken into account while analysing variant ordering. The construction industry was characterized by pervasive corruption and inefficiency throughout this time, which spanned from the 1980s to the early 2000s. Variation orders were frequently employed during this time to take advantage of contract weaknesses and drive up project expenses. However, there have been a movement in the industry in recent years for better accountability and transparency, which has resulted in stronger rules and more uniform contract language regarding variation order. Penang International Airport construction dispute, the plaintiff sought RM67 million in damage for work, extension, acceleration, and financing. The defendant contest the plaintiff claim and counterclaim for Rm9,694 ringgit in liquidate and determine damaged LAD due to the plaintiff failure to complete specified service on time. The court issued several decisions, including determining the plaintiff owed amount for labor and supplies, reducing the LAD amount to Rm1,286 ringgit 521 ringgit 50 cents, and ordering interest at 5% per year. The court denied the plaintiff claim for acceleration expenses and extended the deadline for the CUB work. The court allowed the defendant's LAD counterclaim for the ADW work in part, allowing the plaintiff an extension of time to finish the work until April 30, 2014. The court also denied the defendant LAD lawsuit for the CUB work and allowed a partial LAD counterclaim for the ADW work.
Now I want to presentation is about the case 2, Tai Xiong and US vs NCT Tropical Sdn Bhd. Plaintiff in this case alleging that defendants violated the terms and conditions of the plan agreement and seeking a statement that the plan was terminated or void. Do not access the variation order. The court's conclusion that the order obtained by the respondent were valid and enforceable. Lastly, the plaintiff's application was dismissed with no order as to cause. Next, case 3 is about the RH Electric Sdn Bhd vs GML Plumbing Sdn Bhd. This case involves an appeal against the striking out decision of the Sessions Court regarding a claim of variation order VO for a multi-purpose hall. The court allowed the plaintiff's appeal and ordered appellant to amend its pleadings and provide more details of the order and after work.
And I will be the next presenter for the fourth and the fifth case. The fourth case is between Pembinaan Was Megah Sdn Bhd and EcoFirst Construction Sdn Bhd. This case is a classic case arising from the issue of VO, which is variation order. The case started with the plaintiff claim Rm1,640,931 ringgit 36 cents for the works in a construction project, which JKR as the main contractor and Aturan as the subcontractor. The defendant failed to pay, claiming that they have paid more than the contract price and had no finalization. The plaintiff claim was premature and the JKR must approve and pay the variation order. The defendant failed to release the retention sum to the plaintiff, which breached this clause 5.2 of the letter of award. And because of this, the plaintiff can claim for retention sum, variation order, price variation, and time extension, which is supported by documentary evidence. The defendant argues it's premature, but the case is proven to be unpremature. Justice favor allowing the plaintiff claim, and the judgment is entered for the plaintiff with Rm 20,000 cost. The fifth case or the final case is between Corbin Holdings Sdn Bhd and Perwira Bintang Holdings Sdn Bhd. The defendant and the plaintiff engaged in a direct negotiation, leading to the defendant awarding the plaintiff Rm 40,150,000 for subcontract work for electrical installation. Estoppel is the main defense used by the defendant against the claim. The defendant asserted that the value of variation and additional work, as well as few other matters pertaining to the completion of the subcontractor account, were ultimately resolved or agreed upon between the parties at the meeting. The plaintiff claims that the defense was a sham. The meeting was merely a discussion on operational matters, and the representative had no authorities to decide on financial matters, and that the principle of estoppel was not engaged in the case of deception, cheating, or wrongdoing. Upon conclusion, the court found that the defendant has discharged its burden of proving its counterclaim. As evidence leads to presume to be true, the plaintiff counsel argues with DW1 admitted that the sustained number of debts notes had not been acknowledged. Because of this, the court believed in DW1's testimony and had no other evidence in relation to the counterclaim. The plaintiff's submission of no case to answer is dismissed, and the defendant's counterclaim is allowed, along with the interest of 5% per annum from today to realization and Rm 30,000 as cost for the whole case. Thank you.
With now, I will continue to present about the conclusion and the recommendation. So our analysis of case study and literature review has led us to following conclusion. We all have a significant impact on construction project, and their appearance can be minimized through improved collaboration, communication, and transparency among all project stakeholders. So we also have suggested a few of the recommendations to reduce the VO on construction project. The first one is the producing concluding design and the contract documents. The second one is finishing drawings at the time. So the third one is having an experienced and committed supervisor overseeing the work. Next is the improving communication between all parties, and the last one is the conducting detailed site investigation. So that's all for me. Thank you.